Hi there. Welcome to Apple World. So are the specialists attempting to conceal what truly befell Shanquella Robinson and how she wound up in a coffin? It has been over a month since Shanquella was on unalived equity actually hasn't been served. There have been no captures or warrants issued, and individuals are beginning to blow up. So what is truly happening in the background with this case, and why is it taking such a long time? What's more, is there actually a police scheme to cover the case? Additionally, would we say we are truly going to watch the Cabo Six, in a real sense, pull off murder? The U.S. specialists and possibly the U.S. court are not persuaded that the Mexicans have an extremely impressive case and that it's impossible that she would be removed. So it's been 2 or 3 weeks since Shanquella Robinson was horrendously killed while out traveling to Cabo with individuals she believed were her genuine companions and that she could trust. Presently, the inquiry at the forefront of everyone's thoughts is why there have been no captures put forth in the defense. And when is Shanquella going to get the equity that she merits? At the end of the day, there is a viral video that obviously shows Shanquella being thrashed. So, for what reason are there still no captures? Indeed, evidently, it isn't as straightforward as we naturally suspected, in light of the fact that there's a ton to place into thought since cases like this are famously troublesome. Most importantly, there's the way that the case occurred outside the U.S. So there's the issue of who has the main chance at the suspects, and it's between the U.S. and Mexico. The wrongdoing occurred in Mexico, yet both the person in question and the suspects are American residents. So it's an exceptionally fragile circumstance. I realize that Mexico documented charges and mentioned the removal of one of the 6 individuals associated with the case, yet there has been no report on that at this point. The charged individual is accepted to be Dejanay Jackson, yet neither the American specialists nor the Mexican specialists have formally delivered a name. As of now, it's all theory. In any case, whoop to account talk since she has been on this case and has it locked. She has as of late talked about Dmitry Shostakovich, who is a law enforcement lawyer, and he gave such a decent breakdown of the case that I needed to let you all know what's happening in light of the fact that you all have expertise, and I love to keep my Bettys refreshed. So he made sense of the fact that since the Mexican specialists accept that they have adequate proof to charge a portion of individuals of interest, it's currently up to the FBI and other American specialists to decide whether the Mexican case is sufficient. Mexico has tracked down adequate reasons to accept that specific individuals required here, might be being investigated, right? Thus, the FBI and the government specialists here in the States should now choose whether or not to remove those people. What's more, that is basically where the cycle will go. Presently, this really goes in accordance with what another master said a couple of days prior, after Mexico declared that they had mentioned removal. The U.S. specialists and possibly the U.S. court are not persuaded that the Mexicans have an exceptionally impressive case and that it's improbable that she would be removed. So, except if the Mexican specialists specked their I's and crossed their T's, there's a high opportunity that the U.S. could choose to decline to respect the removal settlement in this situation. Presently, in regards to the removal, individuals have been asking why we haven't known about any capture warrants, seen mugshots, or any such thing, despite the fact that it was accounted for that someone was captured. As Shanquella Robinson's family keeps on looking for answers in the passing of their girl, some are guaranteeing a suspect has been captured for the situation. The 25-year-old Charlotte lady strangely passed on while on an extended getaway with a gathering of companions in Mexico. They've given a capture warrant for one individual on the outing, yet a few articles are saying that individual has been captured. Presently, similar to what I said previously, the individual is accepted to be dead, yet I won't verify or refute it since we don't know without a doubt yet. However, I won't give out any off-base data since all of you realize you can count on my promise. In any case, Dmitry made sense of why it was being kept quiet, and he really seemed okay. So inner records are not openly available, isn't that so? However, ultimately, right, removal will come to the government's courts. In the long run, it will be an openly available report. It may not yet be. These things will often take some time. Goodness. And it appears as though the other 5 individuals are not in the clear yet on the grounds that, as per Dmitry, they could likewise be charged in light of the fact that they were there and watched her get beaten and never really helped her. That individual who did the recording, could they additionally be captured or perhaps captured by the others in question? Sure. Once more, it depends on what the standards are in Mexico. Right. Assuming Mexico considers it fit to have those people stand preliminary, the interaction will be comparative for all interested parties, albeit the seriousness of the lead clearly isn't uniform in all cases. Right. It will be a government proceeding to check whether they ought to be removed to Mexico, and they will be charged in Mexico. Goodness, and Mexico isn't the main spot. They're in a difficult situation since they have a great deal of issues here in the US too. And negative, I'm not discussing the way that the roads may be searching for themselves. It is likely going to do extremely unlawful things since we, as a whole, realize that the roads are irate and are out for retribution. I'm discussing the way that Dimitri uncovered that the FBI could likewise bring charges against them. The person reaches out, which is normally the way that this goes, correct? The FBI is the organization that will sort of effectuate the removal. Right. Right. They could be charged in America for misleading government authorities. Right. U.S. Code 1001. So that is conceivable. However, any other way, every one of the crook allegations and the considerable lawbreaker cases will be occurring 1 month from now. He likewise made sense of why we haven't heard a ton about the case. Also, I won't lie. He made a few admirable sentiments to ensure that the examination is shut off, so there isn't some chance of alteration, departure, or things of that nature. You all, this simply checks out in light of the fact that by the day's end, they need to get equity for Shanquella, and that ought to precede our craving to get refreshes. Equity is truly significant here. So in the event that the federal authorities need to keep a tight lid on things, we simply need to take the path of least resistance. Dimitri then, at that point, made sense of how removal works and the means that should be followed. So as may be obvious, there's a ton of regulatory stuff that needs to occur, a ton of cycles that should be finished, and a ton of T's that should be crossed. A ton of I's should be dabbed, and by and large, a ton of examinations should be finished. It's never as basic as watching a viral video and making captures like we trusted it was. Also, the fact that we haven't been finding out about the case doesn't mean that there hasn't been progress. It's simply being kept calm for the present as a result of the entire regulatory and administrative noise and stuff. Be that as it may, I will cross my fingers. That will be addressed soon. Someone remarked. This is impossible. Not one of her alleged companions mediated before concocting the arrangement or doing this indecent demonstration. Not one of them had the sense to pose the inquiry, consider the possibility that we get found out, and am I able to go to prison? They ended the existence of a dynamic and self-accomplished young lady, and presently, they are going to lose their opportunity and conceivably their own lives. Someone else expressed every one of them should be charged. Regardless of whether they put their hands on it, they are similarly liable in light of the fact that they didn't attempt or express anything to prevent this from occurring. All liable. What's more, this other individual said, I'm terrified for these individuals. I realize a fair consequence should be given, yet these individuals have found themselves mixed up with something they can't escape. I concur with this last individual on the grounds that the possibilities that they will escape this are probably nothing.